Hello guys, this is James and today we're going to talk about the z-index. First, I have created something very simple. A 4 div represent 4 boxes. The first one, the second, and the last, and the fourth one is listed in the first one. All right, let's check our CSS. First, we set the margin of body 100 pixels. All right. Then we use display inline box. I will make the box in the same line. So I use the inline box. Also, it can set the height and width, right? I want to make it square. So I set the width to 100 and line height to 100. And of course, I set the border and background color. So it looks like this. And then the margin left, I set it a minus elective value. So I intentionally want them to overlap with each other a little bit. The text align center, so all the text will be aligned in the center. The vertical align, I just align everything to the top. Still, right, it doesn't really seem aligned because vertical align take account of the margin. And subsequently, I set the margin top of the 2 and 3. So they really have those kind of effects, right? Like this. And the second question is like, why listed is just here. We can check. I said this is all the settings for the listed. I set the position of absolute. If we directly set the position absolute without setting any of its parents or even the hierarchy, the position. I mean, the position value of the parents can be anything like relative, like fixed, etc. So if we don't give any position value like this, then it will really position the reference to the body. And then we set top 1 EM and the right 1 EM. So it will have top 1 EM and left 1 EM. And then the height 2 EM. So it has sort of the height and of course background color, border. Another thing we have to take account of, the line height I set the initial Y. It's the listed elements and it will inherit the line box in the parent DOM. So if we don't set it, the line height will be 200. And let's just comment it and see what happens. See, the line height really becomes bigger. So right, it will not take account of really the box itself. Since the line height is so bigger, the content will get out of the box. Then what I haven't mentioned is the Z index 100. Later, we'll just call for that. Setting Z index can make elements overlay the other one, but the question is that can we set the Z index anywhere? Let's have an experiment. Here in the 2, let's set the index, Z index. And we know there's a fact about Z index. The bigger the number, it will goes to overlay the one have smaller number. So here we just set the Z index like 999. So our expectation is that it will overlay everything, right? It should be on top of everything. Well, nothing happened actually. But if we set something like this, relative, now it works well. We have a conclusion here is that the Z index only can apply to any elements that has set the position. If there's no position, whether it's relative, whether it's absolute set, then it will have zero effect, doesn't have any effect. Only it's set reactive, relative, or absolute, or etc. It will have its effect. That's the first conclusion today. Second, we really want the listed to reference to the father DOM, that is this, rather than the body. So what can we do? Since the position of listed has been set absolute, so if we set the father DOM a relative, and then the position relative, it really can just reference to it. Actually, I have set it, I just unload it and comment it. All right, let's see. See, here the listed just goes, right, reference to the 1, and it has 1 EM top, 1 EM right. All right, and we can see that it's really 9 over the 1 and the 2. So it's on the top. Why? Because here we set the index 100. What if I set the 2, the index become 2? Logically, I think nothing will change because still the index 100 overwhelmed whether it's 1 or 2. Logically, nothing will happen, right? But let's see the effect. Yes, as we expected, still the list it just overlay everything because the number 100 overpowers too much. But what if we change something? Here we can set the index for both 1 and 2. We set the index just 1. Wow, why less it goes behind? Here we have the most important conclusion that the things that the index of the child is reference to the parent. And if here, what we said is that there are two tag in the same hierarchy, they have the same Z index. So laterally, they will just overlay like this. Even they are in the same, have the same index, the latter one will overlay the previous one, right? And then the kid will just really reference to the parents. It will never over, surpass the layer of the next one. So always it will really set behind the next one. I mean, of course, the last one, at least the Z index should be equal to the former one. Here, let's have a little metaphor. The Z index of the parent's dome is like the floor, right, of a building. And then the Z index of the parents is like the height. Even the height has a very big value, but still they will belong to the same floor. All right, that's what we talk about today about the Z index. We know that it only applies to the any elements have the position property. And then we know that setting a high Z index doesn't mean it will really overpower, just overlay everything, right? Still depends on the hierarchy. So that's for today, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next.